All right, let's get into it. This is the big one. The showdown I know a lot of you have been curious about. We're going to put two absolute heavyweights of AI coding under the microscope. In one corner, we've got Anthropic's Claude Code, and in the other, the powerhouse that is GitHub Copilot. Yeah, this is a real head-to-head. And my goal here is that by the end of this, you'll have a much clearer idea of which one is the right fit for your specific workflow. But hold on. Before we jump right into all the features, we've got to take a step back and ask a more fundamental question. What do we actually want an AI to do when we're coding? Because right now, the answer to that question is splitting into two totally different and, frankly, fascinating camps.
And here they are. You've got the agentic collaborator on one side and the IDE-first assistant on the other. Now look, these aren't just some buzzy marketing names. They really represent two completely different ways of thinking about how we, as humans, should work with AI to build stuff. And getting this difference, it's the key to understanding this whole comparison.
Okay, so let's break that down. What do these two big ideas actually mean for you, when you're sitting there trying to get your work done? This is really the heart of it all. So first up, we've got Claude Code's philosophy, the agentic collaborator. Think of it like this. You give the AI a big, complex task that touches a bunch of different files. What does it do? It goes off, scans your whole repository, comes up with a plan of attack, and then it comes back to you with proposed changes as a series of diffs. Just showing you the exact lines it wants to add or delete. And here's the crucial part. It stops and waits for your go-ahead at key checkpoints. So you're always in the driver's seat. And then there's the other side of the coin, GitHub Copilot, the IDE-first assistant. This AI is your sidekick, living right inside your code editor. It's totally focused on what you're doing right now. Finishing the line of code you're typing, explaining that tricky function you just highlighted, or answering a quick question in a chat box. It's all about making your immediate workflow smoother, second by second. There's a quote that just nails this difference perfectly. It says, Claude feels like you're pair programming with a really careful junior engineer. They go off, draft a plan, and bring it back for you to review. Copilot? That feels more like a ridiculously smart autocomplete on steroids, plus a chat. It's there to speed up your day-to-day typing and editing. See? Totally different vibes. All right, so now that we've got the big ideas down, let's get into the weeds. It's time for a good old-fashioned feature-by-feature head-to-head comparison. The tail of the tape, if you will. Let's see how they really stack up against each other. First things first, IDE coverage. Where can you actually use these things? Well, GitHub Copilot has a pretty clear lead here. It's got support all over the place. VS Code, Visual Studio, all the JetBrains stuff, even NeoVim. Claude Code, on the other hand, it has a really solid native setup in VS Code and this is a big deal, it's got native support in Xcode. So for all you Apple developers out there, that's a huge plus. Okay, what about those big repo-wide changes? The kind of stuff that makes you nervous. This is where those two philosophies we talked about really come into play. Claude is literally built for this. It plans out those huge multi-file refactors, and it even gives you safety nets like checkpoints and rollbacks. Now, Copilot can handle big changes too, don't get me wrong, but it's a much more manual process. You're the one in the chat telling it what to do step by step. Now let's talk about collaboration and security. And look, GitHub Copilot has a massive home field advantage here because, well, it's part of GitHub. It is deeply woven into the entire platform. We're talking PR summaries, help with code reviews, even automated security fixes with CodeQL. Claude can play along, sure. It can participate through the command line, but it just doesn't have that native built-in feel that Copilot does. So how about making these tools your own? Extensibility? Claude Code is all about connecting to your unique ecosystem. Its plugin architecture lets you hook it up to your own internal tools, your custom linters, your internal docs, all that stuff. Copilot, on the other hand, gets its power from the GitHub platform itself. So if your whole world already revolves around GitHub actions, policies, and pipelines, Copilot is going to feel right at home. Okay, we've gone over the philosophies, we've looked at the features head-to-head. Now for the part that really matters. Which one of these should you be using? Let's try to make this decision a little bit easier. All right, let's just run through a quick checklist. Ask yourself these questions. Number 1, do you basically live in the terminal and find yourself doing huge repo-wide refactors all the time? Then yeah, you're going to want to look at Claude Code. Number 2, is your team completely embedded in the GitHub ecosystem? PRs, actions, security, the whole 9 yards? Then GitHub Copilot is probably the no-brainer choice. How about this?
Are you an iOS or macOS developer who spends all day in Xcode? Claude Code has a really strong advantage there. Okay, next. Do you work in a big company that needs strict governance, audit logs, all that enterprise stuff? Copilot Business is designed to plug right into GitHub's existing controls. And last one, do you have a bunch of custom internal tools that you wish an AI could use? Claude Code's plugin system is literally made for that exact problem.
So, after all that, what's the bottom line? Who's the winner? Who takes the crown? And here's the thing, and this is probably the most important takeaway. There isn't a single winner. This was never about which one is better in a vacuum. It's all about finding the right fit. The right fit for you, for your team, for the way you actually work. So really, it all boils down to this one question. What's your biggest pain point? What's your main bottleneck? If it's the sheer complexity and risk of making those massive, sweeping changes across your code base, then you're looking for the kind of controlled automation that Claude offers. But if your bottleneck is more about the small, daily frictions, all the typing, the searching, the navigating around GitHub, then what you need is that immediate native help that Copilot gives you. And that kind of leaves us with one last big question to chew on, right? As these tools keep getting smarter, as the lines between them start to blur, what is your next AI teammate going to look like? Is it going to be an agent, an assistant? Or maybe, just maybe, you'll find you actually need both.